Welcome back, everyone. This is lecture number 2 on our paper History of Muslim Civilization from Advent of Islam till Pious Caliphate. And we will now start with the biography of the Prophet. This video in particular will talk about the birth of the Prophet. And it has three objectives: to know when and where the Prophet was born, to know the ancestry of the Prophet, and to know why his birth year is also called the year of the elephant. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born in the year 570 CE in Mecca, which is now a part of Saudi Arabia. He lived for 62 years and a few months above it, and died in 632 CE in Medina. His place of burial is a part of Masjid Nabi. It's a section in the mosque of the Prophet in Medina. It's an interesting fact that the mosque at the time of the Prophet was very small. We'll be discussing about it in later videos. But right now, the mosque of Prophet, which you see in Medina or you visit, it's very large. It's large enough to accommodate the whole of Medina that was there at the time of the Prophet. That is how large the mosque has become. The name of the father of the Prophet was Abdullah bin Abdul Muttalib. Bin means in Arabic son of. So it can in English mean Abdullah, the son of Abdul Muttalib. So this makes Abdul Muttalib the grandfather of the Prophet. His mother was Amina. Bint here means daughter of. So Amina, the daughter of Wahab bin Abdul Manaf. Uh, we know that Abdullah belonged to a prominent tribe in Makkah, the Quraysh tribe. We'll talk about it. And Amina belonged to a very prominent Zuhri clan of Medina. Prophet was born as an orphan in a sense that by the time he was born, he had his father had already died, and so he was raised by his grandfather first, Abdul Muttalib, and then by one of his sons, an uncle of the Prophet, uh, Abu Talib. He had a son who's also a very revered, renowned personality in Islam. His name is Ali ibn Abu Talib. So Abu Talib was the father of Ali, and he also adopted Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam after the demise of his grandfather Abdul Muttalib. So the Prophet belonged to the Quraysh tribe of Banu Hashim clan. So let's clarify this. Let's understand the difference between a clan and a tribe. So if there are members in a family, like if there's a father and a mother and a son and a husband and a wife, it forms one family. So many families related to each other, having a common ancestor, it forms a clan. That tenths of families together form one clan. So now there can be many clans like these having their own set of families. All of these clans, when they have a common ancestor, then all these clans together form one tribe. So let's say Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was of Banu Hashim clan, and a very prominent companion of the Prophet, Uthman ibn Affan. He was from the Banu Umayyah clan, but Banu Umayyah clan and Banu Hashim clan had a common ancestor in Quraysh. So these both clans belong to the common Quraysh tribe. The ancestry of the Prophet can be traced back to Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. This is an established fact. There are books on it. The whole chain of people up till Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, the son of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. It's written in books. It's written in documents. It's memorized. So yes, the ancestry goes back to Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. So we can say that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a descendant from Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. So this is what we try to do. We try to ask questions in the class, and a question which immediately comes to mind is that how did Quraysh as a name came? So there was this personality with the name Fihr, somewhere around the third century CE, and he was a renowned trader, a renowned businessman, a renowned merchant, and people would name him. They generally titled him with the name Quraysh, and so this Quraysh name, it got stuck and it followed. The immediate ancestry is shown in this slide. Let's say uh, I have minused, I have removed all the descendants from Fihr up till Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. For this, there are many books which you can read on the ancestry of the Prophet. But these are some of the important names. One of the descendant of Fihr was Qusay, who died around 480 CE. After his death, the leadership of Quraysh came to Abd Manaf, and after the demise of the Manaf, the leadership came to Hashim, and from here the clan's name, Banu Hashim came. So after the death of Hashim, the leadership came to his brother Muttalib. But after the death of his brother Muttalib, the leadership came to Hashim's son, who was also known as Abdul Muttalib. So he was Abdul Muttalib bin Hashim, the Abdul Muttalib, the son of Hashim. And we have discussed this. Abdul Muttalib had many sons, one of whom was Abdullah. And Abdullah had a son whose name was Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this is the immediate ancestry of Prophet of Islam. In Sahih Muslim, a book of which has a collection of hadith, Prophet himself says that Allah chose Kinana from all the descendants of Ismail, and he chose Quraysh from Kinana, and he chose Banu Hashim from the Quraysh because it had many clans, but then Allah chose Banu Hashim, and from Banu Hashim it had many families and many members of those families, and from Banu Hashim Allah chose Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as the prophet. So there are many books written on who the Quraysh are, who the Quraysh were at that time, and who are the people of Banu Hashim. But then, who was Kenana? Now, Kenana was not the name. Kenana is the title given to a certain personality, a descendant of Ismail alayhi salam. Kenana in Arabic means a pouch which contains arrows which you use for shooting with a bow. So why was the title Kinana given to this person? Because it was as if he is a pouch, he's a container of deep wisdom, of bravery, of knowledge. He was a revered personality of his time. People, when they would come to Makkah for pilgrimage of that time, they would want to meet Kinana. That is how famous he was. So, and maybe he was also of upright character, and that is the reason why Allah chose him. And then from his descendants, there must have been many tribes. Uh, Allah chose the tribe of the Quraysh, which we already discussed. That Fihr is an important personality of the Quraysh tribe. So Allah chose that tribe. From that tribe, then there are going to be many clans. From those clans, Allah chose Banu Hashim, and from Banu Hashim, there are going to be many members of Banu Hashim clan. Then Allah chose Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for his mission. So why is the year 570 called the year of the elephant? Because there was a Christian king, Abraha of Yemen. Now he was of Ethiopian descent. He was of an African descent, ruling over Yemen. He came as a governor, a viceroy, and then he found his independent rulership in Yemen. He was a Christian. He would see people leaving his place for Makkah annually for pilgrimage. Now you need to understand that Yemen, even for that standard, 1400 years back, was much developed than Makkah or Medina or any other place in Arabia, and it was a hot spot of people and travelers. Yemen was pretty developed at that time, and the Christian king Abraha did not like people going to an arid land, just barren rocks and mountains and sand and no development, no not much of civilization, but revering that place, going there, worshipping over there. So he decided to destroy the Kaaba in Mecca, and we know that Kaaba was built by Ibrahim alayhi salam. It Since then it has been it is referred to as the house of Allah. And when we'll discuss the religious condition in Arabia, we will know that polytheism was the religion in Arabia, but Allah was supposed to be the supreme God even then by the pagan Arabs. and so they also believe that the house, the Kaaba, belonged to Allah, and this was the house that Abraha wanted to destroy. So he came with his army and he came with his elephants. The number in the narratives range from 8 to 20. So let's say he came with an army of elephants also, and with one supreme elephant. He also had a name. He was called Mahmud. This sanctions this fact that Abraha was from an African descent because Arabia does not have elephants. Africa has a lot of elephants, and so African elephants were imported into Arabia. Abraha, the king, had those elephants. Arabs were astonished when they would see elephants because they haven't seen a mammal like that before. And he brought these elephants to destroy the Kaaba. The interesting story is it's noted by all of the historians that the elephants would listen to every instruction, uh, except the instruction of charging towards the Kaaba and destroying it. The elephants will go everywhere, follow every instruction, but the instruction of charging towards the Kaaba. And there is a surah in the Quran, the 105th surah, Surah Fil. Fil means elephant. So this is the chapter of the elephant where Allah discusses how Allah sent to save His house a flock, a huge flock of birds carrying stones in their beaks and their claws, and they would pelt them from the sky. So imagine millions of stones falling high from the sky to the elephants. And what happened was that uh, the army of the army and the army of the elephants, it turned into rubble, and Kaaba was saved by Allah. So this was an important event that happened before Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was born in that very year. And there have been many guides. There are authentic narrations in hadith from Aisha radiallahu ta'ala an, where she said that there had been guides who would take children and people to those areas where they would show the rubble of the elephants that came to destroy the Kaaba in the year 570, and how Kaaba was saved by Allah. So again, this is what we discussed in our previous video, that we encourage critical thinking, pondering over and researching before coming with answers or questions. So we can say that Yemen was a very developed city at that time, much more than Makkah. And Abraha wanted to destroy Kaaba, and at that time, Kaaba had idols of many gods worshipped by many pagan Arabs, and destruction of Kaaba meant that Abraha had no regards for the house of Allah or the idols that were placed by the pagan Arabs inside, or regard to the religion of Arabia of that time. And then he wanted to build a new Kaaba in Yemen itself, so that people would come for pilgrimage to Yemen rather than Makkah. So now we understand that he had no regards for the religion of pagan Arabs, their idols, and he was ready to destroy them and then rebuild again. So it means that he did not only want the religious Yemen to be the religious center, rather he also wanted Yemen to become the commercial center, because this is a known fact that when travelers and pilgrims would travel to Makkah, they would also trade there, they would also stay there, they would also buy things from there. So the economy would boom at that time of Makkah, and he would want that to happen in Yemen. So these were probably the reasons why Abraha wanted to destroy the Kaaba, and he charged with the elephants. And you know what happened. We have already discussed that in this video. So you can pause the video here and read these pointers on the summary of this video and recap as to what you have learned. Finally, these are certain important books. They are basic books. History of Islam by Masood Hassan covers all of the history of Islam. It's in two volumes. But briefly, it gives an idea to the students. It gives a path. It gives a structure as to uh, what is in the Islamic history, which is your interest, and then you can go to other books talking in detail about those sections of your interest. Uh, a little bit, not brief, a little bit more in expansion, a little bit more in detail is the History of Islam by Akbar Shah Najibabadi, and these two can become the basic books for the student of Islamic studies or for the student of religions and comparative religions. Thank you so much for listening to me, and we will meet again now in lecture number 3 on the biography of the Prophet of Islam. Thank you so much for listening.